Well, hi guys, Coach Jerry here at The Protocol. Happy New Year. This is the warm-up for January of 2024. Our system is going to be participating in the swing challenge, and I figure what better way to do this than to add some swings into the warm-up. So what we're going to be doing here is we have 5 old school joint mobility drills that we're going to be focused on for major groups of joints we're going to be working through. And in between each of those warm-ups, we're going to have 10 single arm swings per side. I recommend starting with a very light kettlebell since you're going to be doing most of this pretty cold. So you're using swings as kind of a way to help you with your warm-up. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do, since we're going to be doing swings fairly cold, is we're going to begin by warming up in the hips. So let's go ahead and shoot those hips forward and back. So the movement pattern that we're focused on here is the hinge. Your knees can bend a little bit, but I'll show this to you from the side here. So when we push forward here, the glutes are tight. You feel a little stretch in the hip flexor. When you push your hips back, it should look a whole lot like a kettlebell swing. You should feel the backs of your legs get a little stretch. So we'll start forward and back. We'll get about 10 or so of those. And then we're going to go side to side. So what's important here is you're really focused on pushing the hip off to the side. You should really feel that on the side of the hip there. And we're just going to go left to right. Do a handful of those here. And then we're going to put those together and draw a big circle in the hip. So the general rep count when we're doing these together is going to be about 10. So 10 forward and back, 10 side to side, 10 circles one way, 10 circles the other way. If you're coming in here and you're stiff and you need more, that's okay. If it's a cold morning and your hips need a little more love, a few extra reps might be appropriate. Once we're done with the big circles, now we're going to go into tilts. So the way I like to explain this is if you imagine my belt line was a bucket of water filled to the brim, we're going to spill a little water out of the front and a little water out of the back. This is called anterior-posterior pelvic tilt. A lot of us tend to run very stiff in our hips, and this just helps loosen all that up. Really, if you think about it, this is a mini kettlebell swing. Got that hip and got that glute and ab contraction when you shoot forward. And then if you have the lateral move, now we're going to be spilling water out of the sides. And then we're going to combine those two and draw a circle. If you have a difficult time doing this, sometimes a mirror will help. And we're going to go in both directions here. Sometimes you can also teach it to yourself by doing it one move at a time. So you go forward, side, back, side, forward. And then once you have those 4 positions, you can work on being able to move through that range of motion. Once we've done all that work through the hips, you should be warmed up enough here to where you can take your first set of swings. So it's just going to be really, really simple. We'll come back here. Just like that. So I won't be demonstrating all the sets of swings, but I want to do at least one set with you guys. The next thing the next warm-up drill we're going to do is called the world's greatest stretch. From a top of a push-up position, you can shift into downward facing dog, lift your left foot up as high as you can, bring it to the outside of your left hand. You'll take the same hand, same side, left hand, reach out and back, and return back to the ground. If you're able to do this, you can practice to try to get your forearm all the way to the ground. If this is too challenging, it is okay to put that back knee on the ground as well. So we'll be doing 10 of those on each side. When you're finished, hand comes back to the floor, bring the foot back, go into downward facing dog, and then do the same thing on the other side. Bring the right foot up. And again, if it needs to be modified, maybe you don't quite get to the ground, maybe that knee stays on the ground, whatever works for you. And then when you get out of there, one last down dog, just because it feels good. Bend the knees, step or jump your feet to your hands, and slowly roll back up. After the world's greatest stretch, we'll do another set of swings. Again, just to help the video go a little bit quicker, I'll skip those. Next, we're going to be working in our neck. So we're going to get nice and tall here, and we're going to go left to right. This is not about speed. This is about range of motion. Next, we're going to take our neck up and down. Then we're going to do a neck circle. So in the circle, I'm not trying to roll the crown of my head. I'm actually trying to make my chin draw the circle. So it goes chin to chest, rotate over to one shoulder, tip back, cross over, find the other shoulder, and then sweep the front of your shirt. So when you put it together, your chin is actually making that circle. So we'll go 10 one way, and then 10 the other way. And again, if you're really stiff in the neck, you might need more. If your neck feels really good, you might need less. I like to finish with just some gentle tilts. That part of my neck is usually pretty stiff. Getting a little extra work there is nice for that. When you're finished with working on the neck, one more set of 10 swings on each side. The next thing we're going to be working on is the shoulders. We're going to be doing 2 drills for the shoulder. One is called the corkscrew. We're just going to stand up tall, have the thumbs pointing to the wall behind us. You're going to rotate the shoulder all the way over until eventually the whole body ends up following, and then come back up to neutral. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Left to right. 10 per side. When we're finished with those, we're going to just do some big shoulder circles. This should be very light and very whippy, nice and easy. And go back the other direction. Sometimes the instructors who are teaching classes may have some other good stuff for the shoulders. It's okay for them to do that. All right, when we're done with that, another set of swings on each side. And then the last one we're going to be doing is just simple air squat. When I'm warming up for air squat, or doing air squats as a warm-up, I should say, I like to do a couple of things. First of all, I like to move slow, especially those first few. Maybe rummage around a little bit at the bottom. We call those the prime squats. I also like to practice different widths on my feet. So my hips tend to be stiff, so I like to go kind of wide here and work on that. So 10 squats, different positions, and then we'll hit one last set of 10 swings on each side. So when you're finished with that, that's going to be the end of the warm-up, and then we'll be getting into the fun excitement that we have on the agenda besides that. So no matter what we have on the workout, you know by doing this warm-up, you get yourself a set of a quick 100 swings to add to your swing challenge. So that's what I got for you for January. We'll see you guys again soon.